You ready for this deal, Jimbo?
Hey, let her rip, Cody boy.
Old stories like long lost friends, rodeos and late night bends, history before our time, round pens and pasture rides, cowboys of the Osage.
Woo! I still can't believe we got our own theme song, Jimbo. Can you?
Yeah, I can't get over that every time I hear it.
I know. So we don't usually get it. We hadn't got to hear it the last few because they insert it in on those on the ones we do on Zoom. So it was good to hear it again.
Yeah.
Holy moly! It just blows my mind every time I hear it. Some kid decided to write us a song.
I know it.
Lane, thank you. We appreciate you. Howdy, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Cowboys of the Osage podcast, brought to you by the Ben Johnson Cowboy Museum, located right here in Pawhuska, Oklahoma. Hey, it's old Cody here, and as always, I got my old partner with me, Mr. Rodeo historian himself, Jimbo Snively. Good morning, Jimbo. Good to see you. Who do we got today?
Hey, Cody boy, it's just another great day in Osage, man. And you know us, Cody, we always got the champions on here. But anyway, this week we've got Becca Gagan with us today.
Lady of the Hour.
I mean, she's was 2016 WPRA Rookie of the Year header in that association. And then last fall, her team won the big Women's Ranch Rodeo Association National Finals here at Pawhuska that's held here every fall. And that's really a big deal. And then this just recently, a week or so ago, that's held in the spring. It's not held in the fall, is it?
That's fall. You're right, Jimbo.
Okay, I was thinking it was. Okay, yeah.
Hard to get one by you, even if you're not sure.
Yeah, I know.
Rodeo historian.
But anyway, and then just here a few days ago, they won the Art of the Cowgirl Ranch Rodeo
Big deal.
champion. They were the champion team there. So that's Cowboy Channel material there. And we're just really, she's been a great cowgirl all her life, raised up in it, and we're just happy I knew her dad, used to rope with her dad. And we're just happy to have her. Becca, welcome to the Cowboys of the Osage podcast.
Thank you for having me.
We're glad to have you. So that was a big deal when was that? Last week or the week before?
It was last week.
Yeah.
Yes, we went there and we took care of business. We had one goal, and that was to be the best of the best, and we committed ourselves, and we did it.
Wow. Who's on your team?
So our team captain is the one and only Whitney Hall. She put the team together, and she strived for the best of the best. She likes to win, and so she had it's Whitney Hall, Cody Brown, Kelsey Thomas, and myself, and that was for the Art of the Cowgirl, and then for the WRRA Association, the Vaqueros Locust team. That's the team name. It was Whitney Hall, Cody Brown, Mary Ann Clark, and myself. So there was a team member swap at Arizona, and that had already been planned before we took the team we did to the WRRA Association, and so there was a team member switch, but it worked out well both ways. Both those girls are phenomenal.
I want to know what that, I think I know, but I want to know what that Vaqueros Locust means.
You know, I'm not good on my Spanish, but I think it means badass cowgirls. That's what I'm going to think it means.
That sounds good to me.
They are a whole team full of
Right.
badass cowgirls for sure, Jimbo. No
Right.
doubt about it.
For sure.
Where was that held out in Arizona?
It was held in Queen Creek.
What's the weather out in Queen Creek this time of year?
You know, last year it was 75 and sunny, and this year it was 50 degrees. And if you were in the sun, it was nice, but if the shade covered, you needed a jacket pretty quick.
What is the Art of the Cowgirl? What is the whole event out there? I know they have the ranch rodeo with it. I don't even know. There's all kinds of things that go with it. I was trying to keep up with it on Facebook.
Right.
There was so much going on. I just didn't.
Horse sales and everything. I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah, there's so much. The Art of the Cowgirl promotes the women of the West. just like the Western Horseman. But the Art of the Cowgirl has the Cowgirls magazine, the Cowboy Channel, the Western Horseman. They all promote the cowgirl way of life, and so they have so many different events. They have the Ranch Rodeo, and then they have an event called the World's Greatest Horsewoman. So those girls have to do a reining pattern, herd work, fencing, boxing, steer stopping, all on one horse. And it's whoever wins that's a prestigious award. It's like winning the World's Greatest Horsemen. And there was a gal on our team named Kelsey Thomas. She won top hand of the Ranch Rodeo. She won the World's Greatest, and she won the Ranch Rodeo, and she sold a horse. So she had a phenomenal week. But we were blessed to have her on our team. But the Art of the Cowgirl, I've always been into ranch rodeoing and going places and roping. But that event, it brings the cowgirls from everywhere, and it lets them promote themselves and different things that they do and how they grew up, and it's got great auctions, sell dogs. It's a good place to be for a cowgirl.
Right. I saw Kelsey. She was on Facebook when she was winning that cow or heifer or whatever it was, running down the fence, and she turned it back. Did you see any of that? I saw it. I'd have fell off. I know that.
I've talked to many people and people that know what they're talking about, and every one of them has said it's one of the best fence runs I've ever seen in my life, and it's pretty awesome to call her one of my best friends.
Right. Well, where does she live?
She lives in Rising Star, Texas. Okay. She's originally from California.
Okay.
But she lives in Texas now. She's lived there for over 10 years, I imagine, now. So she's made a name for herself. And this event has helped her grow tremendously. And it's helping me grow now, so
right.
I enjoy it.
Oh, yeah, that puts you guys on the map for sure.
Yes. Yeah, the Cowboy Channel, they'll air it. I'm not sure when they'll air it, but it'll be in the near future, I imagine.
Oh, yeah. We can't wait to watch it. We're going to have to get our DVRs or whatever they are set.
I don't even know what they are. They changed so much. I don't know what they even use now.
I don't even have TV.
You don't even have a TV?
No, I watch DVDs or read book.
Oh my gosh. DVDs, that's about went the way of a VHS.
I remember when those were cool.
Yeah. I remember when they were new. I couldn't believe it. How the heck are we watching a movie on a disc? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. What's your favorite event, Becca?
I like them all. I love the branding. I like to drag calves. But I also like the double team roping, which I know it's more of a doctoring event. They'll turn 2 calves out in the arena, and there'll be 4 team members, and each team member commits to one, or 2 team members commit to 1 calf, and that's always a fun event for me because I like to head or heel. My team will ask me, where do you want to be? And I'll tell them, put me wherever. And Whitney Hall and I, if I'm heeling, her and I have a little competition inside of the competition that whoever heels it first, it's bragging rights. And so we go back and forth. If I usually catch first, but she'll argue. She's a hell of a healer.
Do you take more than one horse out there for a
So
competition?
I took a horse that I rodeoed on all summer and last spring. He's a age gelding. He's 16. I call him Spider. He's by a Doc Stylish Sam, and he is by a Natural Enterprise mare. Phenomenal horse. I've won lots of money breakaway on him, heading, heeling. He's outstanding. My father rode him before me, and so he made him a solid ranch horse before I even took him to the pen. But I rode him, and I took 2 sell horses out there, and got along good with those. If my good horse was to get hurt, I would have rode one of those in the rodeo, but I didn't have to. So it worked out great. I would have took another mare that I had bought off a Larry D. Guy and Trevor Brazil, but she just wasn't as seasoned as the bay horse had been taken all year. So I was rushing it. I was thinking that I needed to take her because I really liked her and she's really phenomenal. But then again, why not? Why you're going that far, spend that kind of money, you got to take your season one. So that's what I did.
Yeah, if you're going to be on the Cowboy Channel, you got to take your best,
You got to look good. I was getting in trouble because I braided his tail. My dad's like, I'm braiding his tail.
How important do you think it is to break your horse well, or do a lot of day working on a horse, or put a lot of miles on a horse before you take one to the arena, Becca?
So that's what I strive to do most days when I ride a horse. It's actually a dream of mine. I love making a horse outside and then take them to the pen and see them elevate and be better at other things. But it seems as the more you ride them outside, the better they get in the pen. And I was taught that from a very young age from my father. You rope steers with him, and I guarantee you every horse he took there, he'd probably doctored, 20 head on them that morning.
Right.
And so I was taught from a young age that the gentle, the broke ones, the ones you use are the good ones. And so I look for that in horses. I've had the opportunity to ride horses for bigger names, and that those horses didn't start out on the ranch, but I took them to the ranch and made them consistent and confident for when they went back to the pen. They had a little better attitude about it. Something I strive to do to make them good from the ranch to the pen.
I'd say that applies to calf horses, steer horses,
Everything.
Anything you want to.
I agree.
There's a bunch of roping horses out there
They
right
need
now, Jimbo. They can't even open a gate on.
Right.
I've seen it.
It's the most aggravating thing in the world to get on one of those.
But they're not cheap.
No.
If
I
they're-
think they last longer though. They learn to protect themselves, and
Right.
a lot of great lessons from riding outside, I think.
When one gets tired out from using them outside, they appreciate, like to me, like it's fun to them to take them to a pen and let them cow and have the opportunity to be patterned that way, roping calves. I personally, I can take any ranch horse that I ride and rope calves, breakaway, head, heel, because they enjoy it. They're not so patterned that they're uncomfortable with it, where they get mad. So I use them every day, even before if I know I'm going to a big roping like the BFI or the Patriot or something, I'll definitely use those horses 2 weeks outside before I take them. Even if I rope on them in the evenings, I enjoy making sure that they're calm, they're with me, they like what they do, their mind's right, and I've seen a lot of horses not get that, they're not in that position to keep their mind steady. So.
I got you. Well, I agree with you. It's good to see, and it's good to hear some folks, actually taking the time to break a horse and teaching them to do something outside. Do you prefer a mare or a gelding?
I don't mind. Either one's fine. I ride a lot of mares, ride a lot of geldings. The best horse I ever had was a mare. She's another one that I didn't grow up riding a bad one. My dad's a phenomenal horseman, so she was one that he had rode, and he said when I took to roping in the pen, he said, if you're going to rope on one, you need to take this mare. And he had put some miles on her, and she'd work off your legs. And so I took her, and she was automatic. And so she gave me the first feel of knowing that you can be confident in a ranch horse, taking them straight to the pen and not getting them worried in a box. It's just, you just set them there, show them what to do, and they're going to do it each time. But anyways, she was the best one I had. I ended up, I took her to a jackpot to get her ready for the Wendy Ryan, the memorial roping, and I backed her in the box and made 4 runs on her. And when I left that 5th run, my dad never really went to jackpots. He'd go to the bigger ropings, but he just happened to show up in Oshaleta that day. And when I asked her to leave, she was 2 strides out, and she snapped her leg above her left hock. It was terrible. But that mare taught me a lot. That was a terrible experience, but it built you, better. And I'm not thankful that she broke her leg, but I'm thankful for the things that mare did teach me. And so I can't say that I prefer a gelding or a mare, because I've had so many good ones of both. So of each one.
Sound like your dad jinxed you that day.
No, it was a blessing he was there, because I kind of lost my mind about that deal, and it was a blessing he was there. So,
Was that an invitational deal out there?
No, it's Arizona. No, they take the first 50 teams that enter, and then they'll have a long round and then a short round. They take the top 10 teams. Well, it was going to be the 10 teams, but they messed up on some books, and they made it the top 15. And it didn't matter to us. We were there to take care of business. If it was invitational, it'd be cool if it was invitational. But all the Cowgirls, I met so many friends there that I can't say anything bad about that event. It's done a lot.
It looked
for me.
like a first class,
It is.
well-run.
It really is.
Event.
You see the best of the best.
What all events did they have out there that you competed in?
So
And how many events are there in the women's out there? Because she told us her favorite one a while ago, but I don't think she told us all of them.
So in different associations, in the WRRA, they'll have the sorting, branding, trailer loading, the mugging, and I'm missing one. I'm probably missing the ribbon roping. I hated that one. It's like the cow milking, but you just have to take the ribbon off. I don't run very fast. I get winded. But that's the events for the WRRA. And then for the Art of the Cowgirl, there was the Brandon, the double team roping, the doctrine, and the ranch horse. So the ranch horse competition part of it is one member from your team boxes and fences a horse, or fences a cow, and they'll get a score, and it goes on to your overall team average. And our Kelsey won. She was on our team, and anyway, she made a perfect score of a 150. They can be plus or minus from 150, but she was at the top average score. And so I'll never forget this. She came out of the arena and she said, "Are you girls ready to ride this wave?" And my exact words said, "Let's go surfing." And I mean, we cleaned slate in we cleaned them out in the finals, but the doctrine event, if I would have caught 2 feet to where they didn't have to tell it down, we would have won every event. But we won 2 of the 3 in the finals. So,
wow.
Yeah, it was a lot of energy and electricity in the building that evening.
Can't wait to watch that on the Cowboy
Yeah,
channel.
it's fun.
Oh, yeah. Sounds like a heck of an event.
We had in the double team roping, they turned 2 calves out, and there was a terrible wreck. It's either Wednesday or Thursday in one of the in the long rounds.
I think I saw that one.
It was
on the
terrible.
internet too. Yeah.
And those, they just weren't looking up, seeing it happen. I was front and center watching, and I think Kelsey was right beside me. And when it happened, it was bad. And so Whitney, our team captain, she made up a safe word she called it raspberry. So if you heard the word raspberry, you pulled up. If you were dedicated to a calf, but they were about to come back around and meet, yell raspberry. So in the finals, I led a calf. We had 2 calves come out. I was the healer. I was hazing. And my header, she was running to it. Well, the calf bent right back to where the outgate, he kind of knew. They've been in and out of there several times, knew where it was. Kelsey and Whitney's calf was coming back the same way, and I was yelling, "Raspberry, raspberry." We all pulled up but Kelsey, and she roped the snot out of hers, and we went and made clean runs on both steers. But it's a good thing we had a safe word because we paid attention. I mean, it could have been bad, but we were all kind of aware of our surroundings. You could hear raspberry for miles away.
Did everybody walk away from that wreck?
From what I hear, yes. I swore one gal, she might have broke her leg, but she got up and they helped her out. She was putting weight on it, but it looked bad. It was bad. Yeah, it was a hell of a wreck.
I was at Pendleton one year, Jimbo, and Russ Gray, I don't know if you know Russ Gray or not. He used to rope steers. He was sitting on the infield of the arena there at Pendleton and had his leg over his saddle horn. And there's during the Indian relay races, and one of the racers jumped the fence and they broadsided old Russ just like they did on that wreck the other day at the Art of the Cowgirl. And everybody made it through it good, but holy moly, what a wreck. What a wreck that was, Jimbo.
Wow. Well, that was just a few days ago. Well, last fall, y'all blew in here and dominated the women's ranch rodeo here, the finals.
The finals. We didn't perform the best at the finals, But we won almost every rodeo we went to throughout the season. So that was exciting. We came to the finals. We didn't jive as well as we did all year, but it was still fun for me, and it was a damn good opportunity. I've always wanted to be a world champion. I knew the women's ranch rodeos would help me get there, but I also, I want to do it in the breakaway, team roping, I want to do it in all. And I'm very blessed that it was in the ranch rodeos because I've been involved in it for so many years. But I committed to this past team, like for sure committed and went. I was just a sub, or I was on a team that just went to 1 or 2, and so you really took you out of the shot of making or winning the world. And you had to show up with your guns loaded, because at those women's deals, those girls want to win. They're not there just to show themselves. Like, they can rope, they can sort, tie them down. So I was blessed to be on a team that when we came here, our butts were puckered too at the finals, because there was a team right on us. And it's a good thing that they didn't do points for the average, because I don't think we would have got the world deal if it was an average for the finals. But we showed up all season long and did our best. We tried to win every one of them. If we weren't winning them, we were second. So
now, are you going to go hard this year?
I believe so. I would like to. I talked to Whitney yesterday, and I told her I was committed, but there's a dream of mine. I really want to go to Cheyenne and Pendleton. I got a really good breakaway horse that can run. That's his setup. He can run fast. It's kind of like scoring them out here in Pawhuska. I love it. And I told her if it all comes to and I think I could go, I'm going to commit myself to going to those 2 rodeos. But if not, I'm fully committed to our ranch rodeo team. So.
Well, if you can enter Cheyenne and Pendleton, you better.
Yes,
For sure.
I know so many of those girls. I've rode horses for a bunch of those girls that go, and it just it's a craving I have, so I know it's coming.
How many do they take up there? Do they limit the entries?
I don't know. I'm going to say they take over 100, but I mean, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I haven't just hit the circuit, or I haven't hit the road very much.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, what a time to start thinking about hitting the road right now.
I know.
It's never been bigger. It's never been better, I don't think, for ladies breakaway roping
How do you
than it is right now.
Right, absolutely. How do you qualify for like the American?
So they have sanctioned jackpots mainly, and you pay the side pot for it. For the American, it'd be called the American side pot, and you place good, you win the roping, you're going to the American. And
you don't have to place in several ropings, or is it just one?
Just one. If you win the roping, if you win the American side pot at a roping, then you win a spot to
I
the
thought
American.
maybe you had to keep advancing. I didn't know.
Yeah, and I did really good last year. I made the semifinals, not in the big house, but at the
Side,
Fort Worth.
yeah, right.
And that short score got me though. I need to work a little bit better on that.
Well, you just didn't get out.
I didn't get out good, and kind of ran my. You're guaranteed two calves when you go down there. I had both my American spots filled. You get 2 spots, and my mental game wasn't good there, and I look forward to making it better. I study mental performance a lot, and it's helped. And
that's a big part of it.
It is.
Sure.
I think it's the main part of it, because I know my horsemanship skills are there. I just my mind is it's way better. I'm real tight with Larry D. Guy and Hope Thompson and Jackie Crawford and a gal named Dawnine Taylor, who's their mental performance coach. And they happened to be at Arizona last week whenever putting on clinics when the ranch rodeo was fixing to start. So I got the opportunity to visit with them and get your mindset right. And because those are world champions.
Sure. Household names.
Yes, they're great people. I've rode some horses for them, and so they help a lot to get you mentally ready. But at that particular deal at the American, I just thought too much. I didn't prepare myself.
Right.
So, but I'm ready now.
I bet. Don't doubt you.
Did you see that run the other day? I think it's Fort Worth, 1.8.
I did.
Domer.
Yeah, Kelsey Domer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I'm really enjoying all this breakaway. It's good watching.
Oh yeah,
Jimbo.
and beautiful horses. Boy, they have some good horses.
Some of the best horses.
They
looks
ride
like.
the best ones.
Yeah, their daddy got them a good one. A lot of them.
Well, Becca probably made her own.
Yeah, oh yeah, I know it, but you can tell some of those girls really ride some high dollar horses.
They do.
For sure. So, go on, Jimbo.
No,
go on,
ahead.
Jimbo.
I'm just going to ask her where she was raised.
Go it.
Where were you raised at?
I was born and raised in Lenapaw, Oklahoma.
Added another world champion to their list.
Yeah, Show
Right.
Webster's a big fan of mine, and really good friends with Kathy, his daughter, and
Right.
there's been many champions come from Lenapaw, and I want my name at the bottom. They got a sign
Yeah, I've seen that sign.
on the highway, and I want my name on it.
Why
So-
is it on there yet?
Well, it's new. We're gonna work on it.
Okay. Perfect.
Do you ever think about when you're up there working? You ever think about all the history?
I do. I look out across the land all the time and think about how people have made it, and the great things that came from all around Lenapaw, and not even Lenapaw here too. I enjoy all the history of it.
Right.
Lots of it.
So
Who's
you
all the
just,
champions from Lenapaw, Jimbo?
well, you have Shote, and then his uncle Fred Lowry, many times, and then you got Buck Rutherford, and know what a Slim Richardson's another one they claim. Don't know much about him. Everett Shaw. A lot of people don't realize Everett Shaw was raised up right over there on Hog Shooter Creek and worked on that ranch and before he went to Stonewall. I'm sure I'm probably leaving. Am I leaving somebody out?
Becca.
Me.
Becca Gagan.
John Israel, he was raised over there
Yeah.
on the Lowry Ranch, he
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
Was shooting all of them.
Yeah, that's where. My uncle Dan owns that place now, Dan Adcock, and there's still remnants of old pens and Shote used for water tanks. You use boats, fiberglass boats. So it's kind of funny. Any place you go to and you see an older set of pens with a fiberglass boat, you know that he had something to do with it. So they're still there. They work good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have his spurs in here. Shows old spurs, yeah.
When I went to work for George Carter right out of Weldon School, 1975, that's the first job we went to was a barn for Shote over there. I know it's still there, but I couldn't tell you how to get there. But it wasn't at his house. It was out somewhere. But I remember he had it staked out, okay, before we got there. He said, this is where I want it. And we went to building it when we got the hole, or maybe he already had the hole set and the post set. But anyway, we went to looking at it. It was so far out of square. It was unreal. Shote, this is so out of square. And he just stepped it off. That's how he measured it. And we had a heck of a time getting our tin to come out, and everything, because he just stepped it off like a cowboy, you know. And wanted us to build a barn there, but I never will forget that.
They used to have big old roping and rodeo there too, didn't they, Jimbo?
Oh, yeah. Shoot, yeah. I think it started in the late 50s. It was an RCA rodeo and went all through the 60s and into the 70s. I'm not sure just what year it stopped, but it was a really nice RCA rodeo.
And they had a big jackpot steer roping there too, didn't they?
Yeah. Shote put on a jackpot there several years. I know I was there in 71, 72 watching, and he always furnished big cattle. And I think I told you, but that 72, he also had to furnish the cattle for the national finals in the fall. And he had 700-pound steers at his jackpot.
Golly.
And just turned them out on that pasture, on that good pasture over there, and and never even thought about them again till fall. Got them up for this roping. And you talk about some big old fleshy Mexican steers.
Yeah.
Now, they were.
They've been on that blue stem.
Yeah.
She has Shote's old trailer, Jimbo. I wonder if there's a little bit of
I do.
something that came along with all these world championships about the time she collected that trailer up.
Yeah.
I wonder if the ghost of Shote's with her.
Probably. He's probably.
I think so.
Might be. He sure might be.
Yeah, I day worked for Kathy. Had helped her with her cows, and she said, "What I owe you?" And there was a little one-horse open-top trailer that he had built early '50s. She told me, and the top rail on it he poured cement in so it'd make it heavy. I'm not kidding. And the floor the original floor was dry rotted. It was gone. I tore it out. But anyway, she asked me what she owed me, and I said, I want that trailer. And it was, there was one tree growing up in the back gate. And she said, oh, you don't want that. I said, I want that trailer. And so when she gave me come get it. I was there the next day. I would have been there that night, but it was dark. And I was there the next day. And my dad, he went with me. He goes, he said, this is what you're getting? And I said, yeah. He goes, all right. He helped me load it. We had 15-inch tires you had to put on there. Brought some old tires, put on, and got it back to his place. And it sat there for a minute because I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, how I wanted to redo it, because it wasn't, the jack was still good, but the floor was bad and it needed painted. And I left the original paint, but I redid the floor and my dad put grates in the bottom of it and put rubber mats on top. I've got maybe 3 horses that'll get in it. That'll haul, but it's so neat. It's stuff like that. It just makes my day, and I like to haul it. I don't pull it much. When we work calves and stuff, I'll pull it around the ranch and in places, but on the highway, it'll get to whipping a little. You got to kind of watch it. It's not very long. So, I mean, it's got to be a small horse that fits in it. If he put old popcorn in there, I'd like to see a picture of that. It's not very big.
Seemed like he'd cram old
I think he might have crammed 2 in there.
He was notorious for, I think he had 2 horses die from 2 different ones.
Yeah.
His trailer coming unhooked.
Oh, he drove fast. Of course, most of those cowboys back then drove fast.
Yeah, they had to get places.
They just drove like hell.
So what's your daily life like? What do you get up and do every day?
So I work full-time for my parent, Lazy Rafter / Ranch, and I get up and feed cattle most mornings and ride colts throughout the day. In the evenings, if it's summertime, I try to rope quite a lot. I spend most of my evenings roping the dummy. And but my dad changed his feeding program to where you don't use a cake box anymore. We got to grind feed with tractors. So now I feel like a farmer most days. Got to wear my mud boots, but it pays off. Cattle do great on it. They grow good. In the end, it's cheaper by the ton, and they do outstanding on grass. But
what do you grind up?
So we've been grinding this year because hay got so high, the drought and everything. Mm-hmm. He bought some corn stock, and so we'll grind corn stock, wet distillers like a corn byproduct, and then corn, whole corn, and soybean meal. And then we started getting in a marijuana byproduct, like a hemp, because they were growing all this stuff around here. And it's got like 27% protein. You damn sure have to cover it up because those cattle can smell it. It's kind of a rank smell, like the skunky smell. But they take to it good. The first couple of weeks that we started feeding it, Burr and I were, which is my dad, like, wonder if they're high, like watching these cattle. But the guy, the dealer for it, he's like, no, this is CBD hemp or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so anyways, that's our mixture, and it seems to work good. We used to just use 14% cake or 20, but this is the roughage that goes into this. Cattle take to it. Cell-born cattle take to it. I've seen a lot of people switching to the grinding. It's a lot of work, but it pays off.
Right.
Do you put it out in a big truck type thing?
We use a tractor and a grinder.
Okay.
Like we grind it all in one big grinder. Like people do have the trucks where they can load them up, and others come by and grind their hay bales. But we just bought the whole grinder, and I wait. You don't have to wait on someone to come grind your hay.
You probably have to feed it in troughs. Is that right?
Yeah, feed it in troughs. Some places on the ranches, like that we feed cows, they put telephone poles up, like make them like troughs on the ground. That way the stuff, it don't scatter, and it works really good.
Yeah, hadn't thought of that.
It works good because the cement troughs, I mean, they're high dollar, and when you have that much country, you don't want to get off the road with those big rigs because it'll tear your pasture up. So it's better if you can line those telephone poles for as many cows as you're going to feed. I mean, when you're feeding 400 or 500, you don't want to drive out in your pasture and string it when you can do it across the road. And so those telephone poles, they help a lot.
Have you always worked on that ranch, or did you ever have a different job?
No, I've went to college, was on the horse judging team, won the world horse judging, won the Congress horse judging. And I always knew deep down I was going to be on a horse taking care of cattle. And I went to Stillwater for a year. I didn't like it, so I came home, went straight to work for my Uncle Frank Adcock up in Sedan, Kansas, and learned a lot from him. He's very, very neat guy. He knows cattle. He knows how to graze cattle. He knows how to build log furniture. He knows how to braid quirts. He taught Jay how to braid quirts.
He sold Ben Johnson a bunch of movie horses.
Yeah,
A lot of his famous.
so, yeah.
I've been trying to get him come on the podcast.
Yeah.
He said he would. Then now he won't answer his phone.
I know him.
Jimbo.
Yeah.
And then he taught me how to make the horn buckles that Coldren makes. He taught James too, and so I learned a lot from him. But that's really the only job after I left him. I went straight to work for my parents, and it's a revolving door. Like, that's our lifestyle, and it's all I've ever known. Like, my dad was a top hand several times, and he worked for the Oklahoma land before I was born, but just that's all he knew. And then growing up, that's all I've known, and I enjoy it, and I don't think I'd have it any other way. So
That's great to hear. Good family business keep
Yes,
going on
it's
and
all
on and on.
family.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
You do got to work a lot harder when it's family, it seems like.
Well, you
There's
never
no
end.
set hours.
hey, that
no
mental
ranching.
performance stuff helps.
Right.
You get to using that.
Right. Does your dad ever talk about his old steer roping days?
He does. He's very fond of the horses that he rode.
Yeah.
And I've seen pictures of it. I wish that I was old enough, because he quit roping steers when he had my brother, and he's 4 years older than me. So I never got to watch him actually trip steers, but I got to watch him in the ranch rodeos, and I got to watch him in the pasture, and how handy he is with a horse. He's probably the best horseman I've ever seen. I know he's my dad, but he can make one quiet just within a snap. And I always wish I could go back and see him make those runs.
I probably
here.
got some of them on some old tapes. We used to film most of those club ropings, but
Yeah.
there's those old VHS tapes, and I don't even know if they're any good anymore or not. They're up in the attic. But
Yeah, I was taking to Bartlesville and get them digitized.
yeah, if I ever do, and I find any
Put
of
him
your
on a
dad,
DVD.
if I find any of your dad, I'll let you know. But
Yeah, he was always he's always really big on his horses, and I think that's where I get it from. He likes to he never rides a bad one.
right.
And in the steer tripping, when he tells the stories of it, he talks about his horse Wallaby, and he had another bay horse. I can't remember his name.
I remember the sawhorse.
That's the
real well.
Wallaby. Yeah,
Okay.
it was really nice. But I seen pictures of that, and you could just tell just from the pictures how he was on the end of the rope, how good he was. But
What do you look for in a performance horse?
a good
Being
mind.
a world champion. No, I'm talking about confirmation wise.
So I like them all to be pretty proportionate, equally balanced, shoulder, ribs to the hip, and clean throat latch. But I really like a horse that cinches deep. I know if they cinch deep, it'll take away from their hindquarters. Even though they have a big rear end, it might look smaller if they cinch real deep. But I think a deep cinching horse, that's one of the main things I look for, and a good mind. But conformation wise, I like from their withers to the bottom of where their girth. I like it to be deep, because if it's not, then those horses wear out fast. The shallow ones, I know I've had some good ones that were good minded, but they couldn't uphold like the things you put in front of them, like you rope a 800-pound steer or something outside, like they can only take so much of that. They'll take it for the first couple, but when you have to doctor so many, they don't. But even in the arena, they seem to last longer.
For sure.
They got bigger bone. I'm not so big. Like, if they have an ugly head, but they got a nice body, I'm okay with that.
Right.
If they got a good mind. I can kind of look at a horse most of the time and just how they react around people and tell how good they are just from them leading them. And even if their conformation's bad, I always appreciate a good-minded horse. But I look for the exceptional ones.
What about their feet?
I like good feet.
You like black feet?
Black feet. I've seen some horses that had white feet that were the toughest feet I've ever seen, but they were completely white. I've seen horses that had cracks in their feet that were from the bottom up to their to their hairline that they damn sure had to keep them shod, but they might be the best looking son of a guns around. It just depends. But I prefer them to have black feet or solid color feet.
My grandpa always wanted black feet on a horse, but there's a lot of good ones with white feet too.
I sold a horse last year at the Art of the Cowgirl. My nephew's rode him quite a bit. He was a really good ranch horse. He was a Cremello. He's bred really good. Big, pretty, good-looking ranch horse. Kind of had the pink eye. Kind of turned people away. But he had the best feet I think I've ever seen on any horse, and they were solid white, and they were hard as a rock. You didn't have to shoe that horse you could take him across here in the Osage, and you would never have to shoe him.
Right.
He was phenomenal.
You know, those white horned steers are harder horns on those Mexican steers. They're real white and shiny. Those are harder than the black horn ones. So I don't know why it's the opposite on horses' feet. But
Heck if I know, Jimbo.
I don't either. We need to do a study on that sometime.
Check it out.
We'll have to have some college somewhere do a study.
Right. If you were putting together a Mount Rushmore of cowgirls, the best cowgirls of all time, you can go back to Tad Lucas if you want to, or you can name the girls you ride with. Who would you put on that? Need 4 names.
Damn sure Larry D. Guy. She was one of the first women ropers that I literally took respect for. I was kind of, when I was in high school, I could rope outside. I was never in the pen, but I thought I could out-rope them. Mm-hmm. And then I went to all-girl team roping in Hamilton, Texas, and I seen her and Annette Stahl win the roping, and I said, damn, they rope like men. Like, they rope good. And so I entered my first team roping at the U.S. Finals, be 2013, and entered heeling for Kelsey Thomas, the girl that won the world's greatest. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I got my butt kicked, and I was like, so then I was hooked on it. Well, you'd see Larry D there or Annette and or Beverly Robbins, and they're like the best of the best going, and it's like, I'm not as good as I thought I was. Like, I got things to work on. So she'd be one, and then Jackie Crawford, I've got to know her. She's been one, and Betty Gail Cooper. I was young when she passed away, but I've went back and I've heard lots of stories about her. And gosh, I got to put my mama on there.
There you go.
So she's taught me how to be tough and respect people and work hard and show gratitude. So I damn sure got to put her on there.
Absolutely.
And she's raised her whole family and put up with Burr.
Yeah. She deserves to be on there.
You left him building fence at home today when you left, what they said.
Yeah, he was a little irritated, and he goes, go get on your pod. He doesn't even know what a podcast is. But, yeah, he's fixing fence. He's got my brother-in-law, Riley Holloway, and my cousin Joseph Vargas helping him, and both great hands. Blessed to have family like that close a family that works so hard to keep things running. So I'm glad that they're there, because if not, I'd be in my mud boots and my leather gloves, I imagine.
Well, unless it's yours, you just don't care about it as much, you know?
Right.
And it's just good to see a family keeping it all in the family. I like it. Oh, for sure, Jimbo.
You can't beat raising a family on a ranch. I mean, I don't care what you're doing. You can't beat that.
That has to be a big part of your success, all the support you get from home.
Every bit of it. Every bit of my success comes from my family. it stems from my family. When I first started, there was never any doubt from them. Of course, my mom, she's like, you need to get married and have kids. But then when she sees how happy I am doing what I'm doing, I got things I want to accomplish before I do settle down. They're all good with it, and they're happy for me. They call all the time if I'm gone on the road. They're like, where you at? How's it going? How's your horses doing? You need anything done? Like, they're always caring, and I couldn't ask for a better family. And it definitely is a family or my family stays together. The ranching deal, we're all committed 100%, whether it's our own deal or we're helping my mom and dad. It's my brothers and sisters are very, very helpful. My whole family.
They better watch out at them breakaway roping as soon as she starts to hit that road hard.
I'm ready.
I hope we get to watch her at Cheyenne this year.
I hope so, too.
I want to watch her over there in Las Vegas is where I want to watch her.
Well, that too.
Win Cheyenne for us.
Right.
Hit the Spicer Grip and the Wendy Ryan and all of them, too.
That's right.
You need to get to hitting all them rodeos.
I know it. I'm
For
ready.
sure.
I've
Tell
got
Burr,
the best.
you'll see him in the fall if you see him at all.
He's going to be like, well, I'm just going to have to let you go and find someone else.
You're going to say that. Turn loose that checkbook, but give you a big old credit card.
Right.
Keep you on the road.
That's one thing about him. He said, if you're going to do something, you're going to work at it. I'm not going to hand it to you. So
Yeah.
that is one thing I've learned. Everywhere I've been, I've strived to, like, he's given me a job and I work hard for him. But that's one thing that he strives. He said, I'm not going to fund you. You're going to do it yourself. So riding the horses for people, it helps a lot.
For sure. Well, if you need any help ever, look our way. We'll
Okay.
we'll enter you perhaps. She's a dang.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
She's for sure.
You're a
She's
Calcutta
good one.
man. You'll put us in good, won't you?
That's right. Well, you got anything else you need to say, Becca, before we get off here?
No, I just, I guess I do. I appreciate y'all for having me on, and appreciate my family and all the girls in my corner, my circles that have put me where I am today. I wouldn't be anything without any of y'all, so I appreciate it.
You got any sponsors?
No, not yet, just myself.
That's
So-
that's a good one to have anyway.
Yeah.
That's a
I
good
haven't
one to have.
really promoted myself to sponsors yet. I kind of
Wait till this
hard-headed.
podcast comes out.
Kind of want them to come to me, but we'll see.
Well, I tell you what, if I was a sponsor, owned a major corporation or something, I would be all in on her. Who wouldn't want to
Oh, yeah.
put your money behind someone like her? A good,
Right.
honest, hard-working,
Right.
goal-oriented
Yep.
world champion. Holy
World
moly.
champion. Yep.
That's a great role model for anybody.
For sure.
I can't think of one thing that wouldn't be a good role model
No.
about it.
I know.
What about you, Jimbo? What else you got?
Oh, just thank her for coming down. I know she's wanting to stay home, build a fence. But,
No.
We got to get her back over there before he gets done.
right.
I'm going to drive slow, take the long way, take 99 home.
Be sure and tell your daddy hello for us.
I will.
Tell him to get over here in Osage sometime. Dadgum, I haven't seen you. I was thinking, that was 35 years ago when we were roping in the club. It's hard to believe. It seems like yesterday.
He keeps in touch with Tim Drummond and David Cheeves
Yeah,
quite a bit.
yeah.
So,
Yeah, every time I talk to Dave, he says something about talking to Burr. But
yeah.
Every time I see Dave in town, Burr's with him.
Yeah.
Neither one of them come to town that often.
Yeah, they don't. So,
Well, all right, everybody. Be sure and like, subscribe, share the podcast. Throw us a comment on it. It means a lot to me and Jimbo when you do that. So,
You bet.
well, see everybody next week. Thanks, Becca.
thank you.
Thank you, Becca.
Thank you.
Old stories like long lost friends, rodeos and late night bends, history before our time, round pens and pasture rides, cowboys of the Osage.